Lost and Found, here on the History Channel. This is a dhoti, the simple peasant loincloth from India, made famous around the world by Mohandas K. Gandhi, who turned this rough garment into an international symbol of patience and virtue. But though he was beloved by millions, Gandhi made dangerous enemies. And so this particular dhoti came to symbolize not only his struggle for justice, but also his violent and tragic destiny. For this is what Gandhi wore on a fateful day in 1948, the day he was brutally assassinated. Born in 1869, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi spent his early years in Bombay and attended law school in England. In 1914, after spending 20 years in South Africa as an activist and reformer, he returned to India, determined to do his part to fight for independence for his homeland.
British rule in India was bleeding the country dry. Britain was bleeding the country of its raw materials, of cotton, and of food stuff, food grains, of hemp, spices, tea, and Gandhi was sensitive to this.
Part of the solution, Gandhi believed, lay in a simple loincloth called a dhoti, worn by India's untouchables, the poorest of the poor. Gandhi believed the image of an Indian clad in a simple dhoti was powerful testimony to the savage economics of British rule. Soon he announced that he would give up Western dress forever, adopting the loincloth as his only apparel.
He gave up his earlier English-style dress because he felt that no longer should he imitate the British oppressor, but rather in his resistance to the British, he becomes more identified with the Indian people, India, and so he becomes a person wearing a dhoti and not a person wearing the British dress.
Gandhi would take his idea a step further. He found a spinning wheel stashed away in the attic of a friend's apartment while visiting Bombay. Fascinated with the antique, he commandeered it and taught himself to spin his own thread. His thread then was woven into cloth, dhotis, handed out on the streets of Delhi to the poor. Occasionally, Gandhi would keep one of the simple garments for himself or his associates. He would tell anyone who asked that he himself had made the material.
Gandhi was very proud of the fact that he was able to spin this cloth himself, and it became, as the political campaign grew, a requisite that everyone involved had to spin his or her own cloth. And so we have scenes of vast numbers of people, all at spinning wheels, doing as a political act their daily spinning.
Gandhi, dressed in his dhoti, commanded a powerful image during the 1920s and 30s. His quiet determination led millions to follow his hunger strikes and join his campaigns of civil disobedience. Worn down, the British quit India in 1947, setting off waves of jubilant celebration. A year later, the dhoti would become a symbol for what some have called India's darkest day. On January 30th, 1948, shortly after awakening at 3:30 a.m., Gandhi roused several of his followers for morning prayer. As prayer was ending, he reportedly glanced down at his dhoti and had a vision of the garment covered in blood. He then began a full day of appointments and meetings. At 5:10 p.m., he made a familiar trek to the prayer ground near his home. The weather was cold and rainy, yet hundreds waited to see Gandhi. In the crowd was 37-year-old Nathuram Godse, a Hindu extremist who advocated violent revolutionary change for India. He was armed with a .22 pistol. As Gandhi made his way toward the prayer ground, he greeted well-wishers and came face-to-face with Godse. Gandhi joined his palms in a traditional Hindu greeting to the stranger. Godse did the same, then opened his hands, exposing the gun hidden inside. He fired 3 shots into Gandhi's abdomen and chest. The Mahatma slumped and fell, murmuring, "Oh God, oh God." Seconds later, Mohandas Gandhi was dead, his dhoti covered in blood. Within an hour after the assassination, police removed the dhoti from Gandhi's body and took the garment as evidence. Months later, during Godse's trial, the garment was brought out to show the brutality of the crime. The blood-stained cloth was powerful testimony to the violence of that January day and helped condemn Godse to a death sentence. The dhoti itself remained the property of India's national police. For 14 years, it was kept in a box with other evidence files related to the assassination. Then in 1962, it was turned over to the foundation that bears Gandhi's name. This simple cloth is a testimony to the struggle, pain, and hope of India in the early 20th century, and an ironic monument to a man whose peaceful philosophy was silenced by an assassin's bullets. Gandhi's blood-stained dhoti is displayed in a climate-controlled, secured environment at the National Gandhi Museum in New Delhi, India. Next on History's Lost and Found, a neglected genius and the first gas mask. Stay tuned.
Running a team